15 days ago, the United States of America became the laughingstock of the world. If we were not already with these weird pro-LGBTQ initiatives that are forced upon children throughout the United States, if we weren't already the laughingstock because of how we idolize retarded people on social media, if we weren't already ridiculed because of grab her by the pussy, or this guy showering with his daughter, or his crackhead son and his laptop that he leaves behind in repair shops. We became the official laughingstock 15 days ago. And 15 days ago, Biden fell apart in front of the entire world, and the media has not stopped reporting on it for 15 days. Every single day, this is the lead story. And it's not just the lead story. It's the mid-afternoon update. It's the evening story. Every story throughout the press cycle. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm actually I was sitting last night going, what do I even talk about on the podcast? Because all we've covered is Biden, because that's all that the news is reporting, which is so different than how the first 3.5 years of Biden's presidency was covered by the news. Let's take a look at this article yesterday that came out from the Daily Mail. This is from the Daily Mail yesterday, July 11th. The headline of the article, Inside the White House Cover-Up, how the Biden Inner Circle's calculated plot to hide Joe's decline dramatically backfired. This is according to a Biden aide, a top Biden aide who requested to speak with the Daily Mail on a condition of anonymity. This person says that White House aides have carried out a calculated years-long plot to hide President Joe Biden's cognitive decline from the world, according to this insider, only to see the gatekeeping effort fail miserably when he had to fend for himself during last month's debate. This is all, and there's 4 important parts that I want to hit in this article before we move along. So, Jeremy, pay attention and follow with me if you can. I'll cue you, but these are very important because these are the stories that are the evidence that shows that the media ignored what the media was reporting. Very odd. Staff closest to the ailing 81-year-old, this is from the Daily Mail, deployed a multitude of tactics to hide Biden's deficiencies, limiting A, reporter access to him, B, giving the president smaller stairs for Air Force One, C, physically surrounding him in public to hide his stiff walk, and am I going A's, B's, 1s, 2s? What am I on? D?
We're following.
D4, whatever. Okay, because I'm holding up numbers but giving letters. So 4D. Biden has been given large note cards, which Vinny mentioned earlier, with the most basic of instructions for almost every event, and he's kept to a daily tighter schedule to get more sleep. I want to go through each of these because it's very interesting. The media reported on these. We reported on these. These are all stories. We're at episode 61. We do 2 a week. So we're at what? 30 weeks into this podcast. Almost every week we've gotten on here, whether it was Vinny, whether it was me, whether it was one of you guys getting on here and going, something's wrong with the president. The president has dementia. The president is in cognitive decline. We never guessed Parkinson's. No one guessed Parkinson's. All of us guessed brain issues, which I guess Parkinson's is a form of a brain issue, neurological, but we all thought dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever. No one thought Parkinson's. We've called this out for 6 months, at least. And every time we did, we were told by the media that it was, like Vinny said, cheap fakes. We were lying. We were conspiracy theorists. We believe 9/11 was an inside job. We didn't get vaccinated. We're selfish and hate grandma. We think that Joe Biden showers with his daughters. I do. We thought that Hunter Biden's laptop was real. It was. There's a lot of things that we have said over the past 6 months that we have been pigeonholed into your right-wing conspiracy theorist conservative who is trying to bring down the president of the United States, but after 15 days of the media nonstop reporting, shows we were right. And sometimes these wins are very rare, so we should
cherish.
Yeah, we should, because we say a lot of shit on this podcast. Sometimes we've got on here and accused Brigitte Marcon of being a man. Some of us still believe they do. I'm one of those people. So we say a lot of things that haven't been proven. This is one that comes to fruition. But I'd like to go down the rabbit hole and address each of these 4 points. And then I'd like to weigh in. I want all of you guys to weigh in. Vinny first. But let's go down this rabbit hole real quick of the 4 points of what they said they hid Biden's cognitive decline. This according to a top Biden aide, how they hid it, and how the media reported on it. And the biggest question, why didn't the media ask more questions? That's my biggest takeaway. But let's go to number one, limiting access. Here is a Hollywood Reporter article from February 3rd of this year where the White House declines the request for Joe Biden to be interviewed during the Super Bowl halftime show. There's the article, February 3rd. So when they talk about limiting access, case in point, number one, Joe Biden turns down an interview during an election year with the biggest audience in America, and they say it's because they don't want politics to become the focus of the Super Bowl. However, Joe Biden, this is the second year in a row this year that he declined to do that interview. He had no problem doing that Super Bowl halftime show interview the first 2 years of his presidency. So the first 2 years of his presidency, when he was in a little bit better shape, it was okay to make the Super Bowl political. Last 2 years of cognitive decline, not so much. Let's go to point number two. Again, all of these have been reported on this very podcast. So if you're watching for the first time, how much of our audience isn't subscribed, Humberto?
63%.
63% of you are watching this right now, and you probably missed 6 months ago when we started predicting this stuff. If you don't want to be in the same position 6 months from now with what we're predicting today and what comes true 6 months from now, subscribe. Become part of the community. Share with your friends. Comment below. Be part of this, because this is how we keep this information going. This is how we keep these narratives flowing, because the media will report on it, but the media won't ask questions. The media won't break it down, won't discuss. They just report, hey, look, Joe Biden fell down the steps. Why is he falling down the steps? Right. Why is he falling up the steps? Let's address those. Here is number two. They talk about making the Air Force One steps smaller. These are what the aides did to hide Biden's cognitive decline from you, the taxpayer, the same person who is paying for these people. At this point, we, the American public, we are the biggest payers of propaganda, because we are paying for the people who are working in this administration to hide the president's downfall from us. We're funding it. We can't even be mad at them. They're doing their job. Scumbag's gonna scumbag. We're the ones that allow it by funding it with our tax dollars. Here's number two, the Air Force steps. Remember this video? This happened March 19th of 2021, more than 3 years ago. And we have played this. We have laughed at this. We have watched this. People have reversed it so he falls down the steps. Then they've sped it up so he super falls up the steps. We've done everything we can with this video. But take a look at this video. This is Biden falling up the steps, March 19th of 2021. Air Force One steps. And I get it. He's older. Stairs are hard to get, up there.
1, 2, 3.
I mean, I was sympathetic when it happened, because they're carpeted stairs and he's wearing dress shoes and there's high winds and he's old. But the fact that it kept happening.
It did keep happening.
Is the problem.
In fact, we'll get to that. Remember when he fell off the bike? And we'll play another video of him falling in just a second. But here is CNN reporting on it. White House says Biden is 100% fine after he tripped boarding Air Force One. He has never, in the entire 4 years that he has been in office, he has never been 100% fine at any point. At best, we had a guy maybe dealing with 50% brain capacity, in my opinion. Let's continue. The next point. This is how the Biden aides tried to hide, according to the Daily Mail, a Biden aide, top insider, telling the Daily Mail 4 ways that they hid this information from you. Here is point number 3. Physically surrounding Joe Biden in public to hide his stiff walk. This is an Axios article from April 26th of this year. We covered this story on this podcast, where they started having crews of people walking with Joe Biden to conceal his stiff walk on his way to Marine One, the helicopter at the White House, because they didn't want people to notice his rigid and stiff movements. And finally, number 4, we can get to this one, the note cards. Oh, there's actually 5 points. I have one more. Sorry. The note cards. Let's pull this up. This is from the New York Post, June 24th of 2022. We either covered this on our podcast or Pat covered it on his, but we were talking about the president being given notes, and they weren't notes like, this is the ambassador to Russia, and here's his name and how to pronounce it. It was literally, take your seat. Let's see. Well, take your seat. You give brief comments, and then in parentheses, 2 minutes. You ask Liz Schuler, President, AFL-CIO, a question, then you thank participants, and you depart. These are the note cards that the president was given. Again, something we reported back in June of 2022. And finally, the falling down. We've all seen this clip. This is Biden last year, a year and a month ago, June 1st of 2023. He is at the Air Force Academy graduation ceremony where the president takes a spill here. Take a look real quick. And I like how he tries to pin it on the stage. There was
Tries
some
to
poor
run.
stage
Look,
hand
yeah,
that
he
gets
tries-
fired for this. 'Cause watch.
Yeah, he
He
tries to
trips, he
be cool.
falls.
Look.
That's sad. Oh, no. Old man goes down.
He does
Then
get a crash.
has a hard time getting up himself. Then he
Well
gets
done
up and
twice.
watch.
Nope.
Points. Look at that thing. Somebody left an extension cord out, and it caught me. So these are the 5 ways that the aides of the Biden administration lied to you, the public, hid this from you, the public. And what is going to be their
Mr.
consequence? Do they
President.
suffer any?
Oh, no, he's got to stand.
There's nothing. They did this to you. They admit that they did this to you, and then nothing happened. So the question becomes, okay, they couldn't do anything about it. So I'm going to play 2 more. I'm going to show you 2 more news articles, and then I want to go to Vinny first, and then you guys for all of your input. Clearly, the wheels have fallen off. They can no longer hide it. They hid it for as long as they could. They can no longer hide it now. What's the next course of option? There's only 3, right? A, he steps down. He's made it clear that he will not. B, they invoke the 25th Amendment, and they remove him. The cabinet has said that they're not going to do that. So what's option 3? They kill him. Now, would in any way, would the government of the United States ever kill or have a sitting president of the United States killed?
No
Yes.
way.
kidding me?
No way.
There's a
Fair.
laser heart attack gun in the 70s. Of course, they could kill him very easily.
So there's precedent that they may or may not have done this in the past. There's the technology to do it. And now we're at a stalemate. Because, again, it's 15 days, and this is not going away for Joe, and he's not going away. He keeps making it clear. He keeps saying at the New York or the North Carolina and at the Wisconsin rallies, I'm not stepping down. I'm in this for the long haul. The George Stephanopoulos interview, I ain't going anywhere. I'm in this. His family's backing him. He will not remove himself. No matter how many. I saw Rob Reiner, that fucking idiot. Yeah. He went and tweeted today that Biden must step down in the name of democracy. Where the fuck were you the past 3 years, Rob Reiner? Meathead. Do you understand? He was famous on All in the Family 40 fucking years ago. And what has he done since? Riser Entertainment? They made Mad About You. Are you a big Paul Reiser fan? That's the only fucking thing Rob Reiner has done other than talk his fucking shit on the internet, and now he's calling for Joe Biden. I apologize for the language.
Well, he's making documentaries about how dangerous white Christian nationalism is. So that's his big claim to fame
Oh, that
now.
was him?
That was
I
him.
remember that article.
So anyway, the 2
Roseanne
quick.
Barr called him a fat fuck the other month.
Oh yeah, fat. That is the appropriate term. He's a fat fuck.
I love her.
A one fat fuck can recognize another fat fuck. Rob Reiner, you're a fat fuck. I bet your bitch titty's bigger than mine. Let's move along. Here are the 2 articles I want to show you, and then I want to go to Vinny for his input. This is what came out this week. So obviously the wheels have fallen off. There's nothing that it seems like, honestly, that the deep state can't do anything to remove Joe Biden. It's actually like the opposite of Donald Trump. It's very interesting. Like the deep state wanted to remove Donald Trump, and the only way that they could do it was maybe to unleash a virus that disrupted an election cycle. What can they do to get this guy out? Because now it's the opposite. The deep state forced Trump out of office. Now the deep state is in a position where they must force Biden out of office, and they don't know what to
Well,
do.
it's uncharted territory for them. First, they had a guy who they couldn't control. Now they have a guy that they can't control for a different reason because he's not like really all there.
Who's more dangerous? The guy that you can't control but has all his faculties, or the guy that you can't control who has none?
All of the faculties because he has intent behind it.
So you think Trump's actually more dangerous than Biden?
Trump's heading in a specific direction. Biden's just wandering around. Not.
Okay, very interesting. This is the article that came out from the New York Post. This came out yesterday. Obama knew in advance George Clooney's bombshell call for Biden to drop out but didn't object. This is the same guy that went to a fundraiser with Obama just a week before the debate in Los Angeles where they raised $30 million for Joe Biden. And in that op-ed, I'm going to read you quickly just what George Clooney says. It's devastating to say it, but the Joe Biden I was with 3 weeks ago at the fundraiser was not the Joe big fucking deal Biden of 2010. Mm-hmm. So he admits when he held the fundraiser where he took $30 million from people, he admits at that fundraiser, he knew Joe Biden was not the Joe Biden of 20 years ago. So why are you then taking money, $30 million from people for a candidate you know you can't get behind? And then why is George Clooney going out and writing this? He's obviously getting the okay from Obama. In fact, Obama's team declined to comment about claims that he didn't push back on Clooney's remarks. But according to insiders, George Clooney called Obama in advance to warn him he was going to make these calls in the op-ed piece, and Obama didn't stop him. So it seems like when we talked earlier, Vinny, and you mentioned who's pulling the strings behind the scenes, let's show this last graphic. The Obamas clearly fed up with Joe Biden, because here's a report. This came out in June, last month, June 27th. This is from Business Insider. New report reveals a major reason Michelle Obama isn't campaigning for Biden. That is because Biden's relationship, not with the granddaughter's mother that we interviewed, a different woman, Hunter Biden's ex-wife, Kathleen Buell, was very close friends with Michelle Obama during Obama's presidency, and she is not happy with the way that the family has treated Kathleen since the divorce. So Michelle's mad. Obama is now lifting off the cuffs and going, go after him, guys. So who is controlling the strings? I want to know. Who do you guys behind the scenes? Who's calling the shots now? Because somebody is. They've called, at one point they held the wolves off. Now they have released the floodgates and let the wolves in. Who's the one that made that call? How does this end for Joe Biden? And when does this end for Joe Biden? Again, we're in day 15. Vinny, your opinion.
Well, Rob, you know me coming from the angry patriot. I love your freaking anger, because it's like, dude, it's like I feel so frustrated, and like it's like seeing somebody getting mugged, and you see it and you're screaming, and people are just walking around it as if nothing's happening, and you can't. It's like in a dream when you're trying to yell and nothing's happening. It seems like that's what's happening, especially with the Democratic Party. And what you asked Brandon, Rob, what was that question you asked Brandon? What's scarier, somebody that's all there and
can't be controlled,
making the shot, and having control, or somebody that doesn't know, that doesn't have all his faculties? I think it's scarier, Brandon. I disagree. I think it's the person that doesn't have all his faculties, because he's not calling the shots. We don't know who the person is, and that's a good question, Rob. We don't. At the end of the day, we can speculate. Obama, Schumer, and this dude, we don't know. So it's that person's agenda that calls the shots, and I'm pretty sure, because Joe has no idea what's happening, they're talking to Jill Biden. Bro, think about this. Jill is the number one. So they have to say, hey, listen, doctor, whatever the hell you want to call her, this is what he's going to say. This is what you're going to do, and this is what you're not going to do. Because if he does this, he's not going to wake up one night. We're going to get bad news of your husband just dying in his sleep. And that could easily happen. Okay, that's one thing. When it comes to the actors, Rob, I think all of them. Notice how Robert De Niro, that scumbag, has been quiet this whole time, and the Clooney's. Look at where we've come in this country. That we have to rely on an actor, a professional bullshit artist. That's who we have to rely on for the fundraising of a president, because people love these actors. They love this dog and pony bullshit show. I can give two shits about him. I love your anger about Rob Reiner. Just a Trump derangement syndrome. Dude, I'm telling you right now, there needs to be a new practice that just, like, it's just Trump derangement syndrome. You put these, like, all the Rosie O'Donnells, all them, bro. Joy Reid, have you guys been seeing that psycho? These people need real professional help, bro. And I think I'm starting to feel bad for them, because they're gone. And I think, Rob, I don't know, man. I think riding Biden to the end, brother, because as soon as he crosses that finish line, because I think they're going to do crazy shit. Let's not forget their plan. Okay, let's not forget the plan. Everybody wants to talk about Plan 2025 as if it's this big, Hakeem Jeffries keeps saying, ultra mega extreme. He's another scumbag shill for the left. Think about their plan, guys. Let's go back really fast. 2016, Russia collusion, Hillary Clinton, DNC. Didn't work. Cheating at the highest level didn't work. All they got was a fine, $8,000 from her, $105,000 for the DNC. Everybody forgot. We don't forget the shit that they put us through. People forgot. Move on to the impeachment, the fake impeachment. What was the impeachment about, guys? Do you remember? It was Trump calling Zelensky that piece of shit and saying, hey, we know what's going on with Biden, Hunter, and Burisma. Make something happen. We know what's going on. And no wonder why Zelensky's pro Biden. Look at all the money. He just gave him another $225 million. Let's keep moving on. They did COVID. Remember that? COVID came out of China with the help of Mr. Fauci and his gain-of-function research, locked down the world, ruined everything, all the riots, all BLM, Antifa, you name it, they got Trump out. And then now look, they're still going after Trump. January 6th, Stormy Daniels, all that bullshit. Guys, it all comes down to hanging on to this old, decrepit, racist, scumbag pervert till the end. And I'm so happy that he's saying no and Jill is saying no, because this inner fighting, this inner turmoil, I think is going to hurt them. And Rob, if I had to guess, bro, if I had to guess right now, I think because he's not leaving, either something's going to happen to him, like whoops, he fell down. Because by the way, easily fall down a flight of stairs, or they're going to write him out, Rob, because they already know the fix is in. And I'm going to get into that later on with the save act. But that's my
Cool.
No,
We'll get to the save act in just a minute. I want to go around real quick because we do want to wrap this up and move to Vinny on the save act. I want to go to each of you guys.
Right.
Rapid fire, real quick. Here are the 3 questions. Who's pulling the strings behind the scenes right now in Biden's downfall? I don't know who's running the operation, who's pulling the strings. How does this end for Joe, and when does it end? Humberto?
All right, the who. And notice I won't name the president. You have the managerial class that they're the ones fucking up. They chose the wrong guy. It got out of control. You have the donor class that they're already pulling out. We saw the news this week. Then you have the media that they need to ramp down. They can't be too abrupt because they will lose. The media is an asset for these people, and they can't lose that much credibility. So they need to ramp it down because they've been lying for a long time. And then you have the intelligence community that they're, just testing the water to see what they can do. And I'm going to be brave enough here to give you a timeline how things are going to go down. We had first the disaster on June with the debate. Then they ramped up his agenda and paraded him around, and he is doing more public appearances than he ever done in his career. Then we're gonna have the worst debate performance, and I'm calling it now in September. So they can ramp up the news against him, and then you're gonna have a clear point that all Americans are gonna see how bad he's declining from the June debate to the September debate. So it's like, they will say, oh, he's doing so bad. His dementia is ramping up and whatever. Then you're gonna have a medical emergency right after the debate. Then you're going to have the candidate swap, and the timing of the candidate swap, or maybe not, is super important because you still have Democrats that are not all bad people. You still have Democrats that they have their ideas and they want to build up another candidate, but they will do it just enough time so they don't have time to get another candidate in there. And then you're going to have a manufactured crisis. It could be a terrorist attack. It could be a pandemic. It could be whatever. And then it's going to be the thing that will push this candidate that they will swap in. And that's it.
Very interesting. So that, Kelly, let's mark that, because I would love to go back to that in 3 months from now and see if that's actually where we're at. Because that means that Biden gets the nomination despite all of this at the DNC, survives all of this, and then goes to the debate on September 10th and just gets smacked down again.
The only leak in my timeline, because he might need presidential immunity, if they're gonna do the candidate swap or they're gonna get him in and swap him after. Because if they open that kind of worm, there's a lot of people that are gonna fall with him. So they might want to keep the presidential immunity, or they might swap him before. I'm not sure about that yet.
Brandon,
I think Biden's done before the end of July, honestly. I mean, the deep state, or not, it's, don't even call it the deep state. So the people who run the world, it's like 200 or 300 people. They get what they want. Like the thing you're describing, why the media flipped the switch, why the actors and famous people are speaking this way now, because they got the go-ahead from these people. Those are the ones that set the talking points for everybody. And like the people like in the government or in the Hollywood, it's like the most valuable social currency to them to be in good standing with these people who actually make the decisions that have unimaginable amounts of money that we really don't even know their name, maybe a few of them, but that's who's calling the shots. Like Obama's in shit. Obama got selected by the Pritzker family. They're worth like $40 billion. They run Chicago, they run Illinois, and there's people like that are varying degrees of well-known, and that's who determines things. So, the people that we see and know about in the media, they don't really have any degree of control. And the propaganda 101 is to get people's icons to say certain things. So that's why, they're making a whole big thing about Clooney and the famous people turning on them.
so you don't think he lasts to the end of July? How does he get removed? Does he step down, or does he get removed?
Just think about who's still supporting him. Like his administration still loosely supporting him, but all it's going to take is the next administration to promise them jobs and give them like a safe off ramp, and then it's just really Hunter and Jill left. So I think it's a matter of either brute force or persuasion with those two.
Shane?
I think the DNC is in control. That's because I think the globalists and the media don't want Biden. So clearly there's some third thing that's preventing Biden from getting taken out right now, and that's the Democratic Party itself. They are waiting on the call from the Obamas and the Clintons of saying, yes, let's completely move ahead from Biden, move on, this guy's done. Obama defended him the day after the debate on Twitter. So Obama's still trying to defend him, but then he just gave the go-ahead to Clooney to write that op-ed, so it's not clear. And Pelosi is kind of giving a green light, saying people can start criticizing Joe on MSNBC. She said, I think Biden needs to come up with his decision soon. The guy goes, he did come up with his decision. It's to say. And she goes, well, I think he should come up with his decision soon, and we'll support it. She's basically saying make another decision, the right one. And I think the way that they'll have to do it is they'll get Biden to step down. I don't really know if death is like a murder is really necessary, but they could easily switch out his pills. But hide his medicine from.
He also has a sleep apnea mask.
Right. So
right?
there's
many ways that you could get to the president at this point.
He's teetering. So so there's that, or just convince him to step down. And the reason why they need him to step down rather than primary him is because his campaign money cannot legally be transferred to someone else, but it can go to Kamala because she's on the ticket. So right now he has $200 million in a coffer designated to the Biden Victory Fund, and he can't just transfer that to Newsom. He can't transfer that to
But he can transfer it to that anchor
actually brought
baby.
it up.
Kamala can
She
take
actually
it,
brought it up.
and then she can bring in Newsom or Whitmer, whoever, as VP, and then they can get the money that way.
Connor, final thoughts.
I think Humberto got it pretty correct about the way these layers works. Managerial class, donor class, and media. I think a lot of the people who are underneath that level legitimately did not know that Joe Biden was this bad until last month. I think the debate coverage, and because immediately after that, we were live on the PBD podcast while CNN was basically holding a wake for the Biden campaign. They were sitting around, Van Jones and everybody else on the panel was talking about pray for Biden, or clearly it's time for him to step down. I think this was the first time a huge chunk of the Democratic base ever heard there was a problem. Everything else had been dismissed as a right-wing conspiracy theory up until the media started saying it. So I think the donors are pulling out, the media is not running interference anymore, and the managerial class that was fine to be on autopilot for the last 3.5 years is now ready to move on with somebody else. So as to when it will all kind of fall apart, I think Shane's correct. They'll switch it out on the ticket, not replace him at the convention, just because of the funding. But anything can happen, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
We're going to get to the SAVE Act. I want to close with this. From my recollection, and you guys are better versed in history than I am, why did Nixon step down?
Watergate.
But why?
Media pressure.
Because it became a distraction to the American public, right? It prevented him from governing effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Why did people want Bill Clinton to step down? An abuse of power, it became a distraction for the American public. He could no longer govern effectively. I think we have to ask ourselves two questions about Biden's cognitive decline. A, question 1. B, 2, C, D, E, whatever. Is Joe Biden's cognitive decline or the coverage of it a hindrance from him governing? And the second question, I forgot. So there it is. I had on my own Biden.
I would say,
and that's why kids don't smoke marijuana at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, and bath salts.
Is it a distraction, and can he govern effectively?
And does Jill care if he can govern effectively? I think that would be the question.
I don't think she gives a shit.
Right. So I think that's the important point to make.
Okay.